Spellblade Rogier is an NPC you meet fairly early on adventuring in the lands between. He serves to guide your interest to Fia's quest and the Age of the Duskborn ending, providing historical context and rich lore for this ending. He also provides guidance to meet Ranni and can help initiate her quest as well. Though Rogier's portion of the Age of the Duskborn is minimal, you will still gain powerful early game items and an understanding of death, or rather the lack of death, within the lands between. Join me now in igniting the initial steps of the Age of the Duskborn. Your first encounter with Rogier comes right before the infamous Margit fight as you make your way towards Stormveil Castle. Proceeding up to the boss fog, you can find his gold summon sign off to the right. You can choose to summon him to assist you during the fight or not. No matter your choice, it will have no bearing on the quest whatsoever. With Margit defeated, proceed into the castle. You'll soon learn that Rogier is also searching for something within the walls of Stormveil. You will next find Rogier in the Church of Stormveil Castle. Follow the path from the Rampart Tower site of grace as shown to find him waiting at the front of the church. You can talk with him now for the first time. Doing so, he will inform you that he is questing for something in the castle and inquire why you are there yourself. You can then choose to reveal that you are there to slay Godric himself. Rogier will indicate his surprise when you inform him that you were guided there by grace, as his ability to see it has long since faded. Once you complete his dialogue, you will be able to shop for some Spellblade-style Ashes of War from him. Continue through the castle until you meet and defeat Godric. Once you defeat Godric, you can find Rogier located in Round Table Hold from here on out. Speaking with him, he will inform you he cannot move any longer, and you can see his legs are covered with a blanket with some black thorns poking out of the sides. When prompted, tell him that you've defeated Godric and he will award you with Rogier's Rapier +8, which also comes with the Ash of War Glint Blade Phalanx. If you've met D already, you can inquire more about him through Rogier's dialogue options. He will inform you that he and D were once good friends who traveled together hunting those that live in death. However, they've since grown apart, never to cross paths again for one reason or another. Further inquiry of D will lead Rogier to reveal that D discovered the Mark of the Centipede, which is an ancient symbol for a curse mark. Rogier is very interested in locating the curse mark within the lands between. Depart Rogier with this new cryptic information. You can now speak with D about Rogier for further lore on Rogier, as well as his and Rogier's relationship as former friends. This step is not necessary to advance the quest. However, this provides further lore about the Duskborn ending. Speaking with him, he will tell you how he once viewed Rogier as being very respectable and wise. However, those days have since passed. He now sees Rogier as being half dead, and his former friend exists no more. He can't stomach watching Rogier perish the way he is. You can then speak to D about himself. He will give his usual speech on how he hunts those that live in death and lives to serve the Golden Order. He views those that live in death as a sort of vermin that must be exterminated. Leave D with your new knowledge of him and Rogier's former relationship. Next, speak with Fia and let her hold you. She will be located in the bedroom of Round Table Hold. You will be granted a Baldaquin's Blessing if you do not already have one in your inventory. This will reduce your health simply by having it in your inventory, so I recommend using it as soon as possible as not to incur the penalty for an extended time. You can always obtain another simply by letting her hold you. If all steps have been completed correctly up until this point, you will be given an option to talk with her in secret. She will tell you about herself and that she serves as a Deathbed Companion for fallen champions to comfort and console them as they die. After exhausting her dialogue, you will need to return to Stormveil to find what Rogier was questing for there. Return to Stormveil at the Liftside Chamber Site of Grace and follow the path as shown. Be wary of the numerous enemies along the way. As you progress, you will come to a developer sign that is made by Rogier that reads, "Surely what you seek is somewhere close by." Continue past this sign, but before beginning your descent down, make sure to open the shortcut door that leads back to the Liftside Chamber Site of Grace should anything happen to you below. Proceed down into the depths of Stormveil, continuing along the path shown. Clear out the rats and maneuver over the ruins present before dropping down into a larger pit. Here, an ulcerated tree spirit will erupt from the ground. In my experience, you must slay it to advance Rogier's quest further. It is one of my most hated bosses, so just take your time and keep trying. Remember that you have the shortcut door to get back down if you are slain. Once you gut it, you will be rewarded a golden seed for your efforts. Proceed over to the large kraken-like being. You can also observe a blood stain from Rogier himself off to the right. It shows him being death-blighted, which finally explains the thorns growing out of his legs and why he can no longer walk. Make sure to observe the face by traversing around it a bit as to trigger the next step of the quest. I'm fairly certain the trigger is defeating the tree spirit, as I could not get the quest to advance prior to slaying it. Return to Rogier to inquire about what you just saw. Returning to Rogier, you will now have a new prompt within his dialogue options to ask about the giant face in Stormveil. Doing so, he will reveal that it is in fact the Prince of Death, Godwyn himself. He then goes on to explain the Night of the Black Knives, a plot created to slay Godwyn the Golden. This feat was accomplished by stealing a fragment of the Rune of Death from Malekith, the Black Blade, which was then used by the Black Knife assassins who imbued their blades with destined death as a way to slay the demigod. This was the first recorded death of a demigod in all of history. He will then inform you that this event was the catalyst for the shattering of the Elden Ring. He also ends your conversation with a warning to not visit the corpse more than is necessary, as it poses some risk, as he himself was death-blighted, which has led to his current condition. Next, return to speak with Fia, allowing her to hold you once more. This time, there will be an option, "Do you know?" Fia will then ask if you've heard of Black Knife Prints, the ones that Rogier is always talking about. She will then talk to you more about the Black Knife assassins and their plot to kill Godwyn. You can continue inquiring by selecting About the Black Knife Prints. At the end of this dialogue, she will gift you a mini-map titled Knifeprint Clue. This simple map reveals some catacombs which contain one of the knife prints that Rogier is constantly talking about. It is now time to travel to the location on Fia's simple map, the Black Knife Catacombs. Travel to the location shown. The Black Knife assassin that you must kill to obtain the knife print is behind a false wall and is not the main boss behind the heavy door in the catacombs. Follow the path shown, killing the skeletons as well as the necromancers that keep reviving them. Ride one of the guillotines up and run all the way down the hall, a seeming dead end. Roll or attack the wall to reveal a boss fog wall. Herein lies the Black Knife assassin that you must kill to obtain the knife print from her. After killing her, you will be awarded the assassin's cerulean dagger as well as the black knife print. Now that you have what Rogier has been after for so long, it is time to return to him and show him the treasure you've just discovered. Return to speak with Rogier about your newly obtained knife print. He will be quite elated that you've obtained one. He will then give further lore context on the Black Knife assassins and their plot to slay Godwyn. He asks if you might let him borrow the knife print for a bit as to tease out its secrets. Hand over the knife print before visiting a site of grace to reset the area. Once you've reset the area, you can now return to speak with Fia once more. This time the conversation will be about Rogier and the knife print you acquired. She will thank you for helping Rogier as it has lifted his spirits and in turn hers. She will gift you a sacrificial twig as recompense and tell you to have a nice day before sending you on your way. You can now return to speak to Rogier once more about the knife print. Having spoken with Fia, you can now return to Rogier, and upon speaking with him, he will return the knife print, having been able to study its secrets. He will then reveal what he has found out. He believes to know who orchestrated the Night of the Black Knives and reveals that it was Lunar Princess Ranni. If what he believes to be true, she should then bear the curse mark of destined death somewhere upon her flesh. He then asks you to seek her out to prove his theory. You can then ask him where he believes Ranni to be located. He will reveal that she is most likely residing in Caria Manor to the northwest of Liurnia. Once he is finished telling you of her supposed whereabouts, you can then ask him why he wants a curse mark so badly. He then will tell you about those who live in death. He says that there is nothing wrong with those who live in death, only that the Golden Order condemns it. Therefore, he seeks a curse mark as he believes one is necessary to save them, as he's realized they've committed no offense other than going against the Order itself. After exhausting this dialogue, you can then ask further about D. He knows that D would be very upset with him if he knew what he was doing, but will continue down the path he is on, not worried about D in the slightest. Next, you will need to locate Lunar Princess Ranni. You can find Ranni in her rise as shown on the map. Speaking with her, she will inquire why you are there, and upon revealing the reason, she will grow rather shifty. She will then admit to being the orchestrator of the Night of the Black Knives. However, her flesh does not bear the curse mark upon it. She doesn't bear the curse mark as she has shed the body that once did. She now exists as a puppet that sits before you. She says the body you are looking for does not lie within the rise and that you should be gone now, as that is all you currently seek. Return to Rogier and inform him of what you've just learned. Return to Rogier to share what you've learned from Ranni. He finds what you tell him to be quite compelling, and talking further unlocks the ability to hear his proposition. He proposes that you enter Ranni's service as to get closer to her and possibly find her original body that contains the curse mark of death. He admits it is very risky and that you would be putting yourself in grave danger in doing so. Return to Ranni to beg that she allow you enter her service. Upon returning to Ranni, you can now beg to enter her service. She admits to thinking that you only want to enter her service due to the fact that you wish to find the cursed marked body you are so vehemently seeking, but the situation also perplexes her greatly. Continuing through her dialogue, she will eventually agree to allow you to serve her. This is one of two ways to begin Ranni's quest. Follow her instructions and proceed downstairs to talk to the ghost of the three others that serve her, e.g. Blythe and Celavis. Exhaust each of their dialogues before returning to Ranni, which will finally allow you to leave the rise and warp again. Return to Rogier telling him that you followed his advice and have successfully been accepted to serve Ranni. He will then tell you how he is on the precipice of a great rest. Rest at a site of grace 3 times, and on the 4th time, returning to him, he will be dead and gone. You can now collect his bell bearing and the spell blades set. You will also notice an additional pickup, Rogier's letter. Within the letter's contents, it is revealed that Dee has a brother and that Rogier believes him to be asleep in the aqueduct in the eternal city of Nokron. Seeking him out will further progress the Age of the Duskborn quest. This ends Rogier's life and quest. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more from me, make sure to subscribe and consider turning on the bell. If you need help with any other quests, make sure to check out my quest playlist. New quests coming every week. As always, have a great one, and I'll see you next time.